Why aren't there any good space games? Since the dawn of time, gamers have longed for things that will never exist. The perfect controller, a new Sony handheld, Sonic to finally finish his rocky transition to 3D. Recently what's been on my mind is the search for the space game. Obviously, the question posed is more of a feeling than anything. Space is a setting, not a genre. Games that use the space title as a setting tend to first focus on being really good at something else. Maybe it's a survival horror, an on-rails shooter, or a rocket science simulator. For me, these sit in the bucket of sci-fi. A space game is something that takes that setting and makes that into its identity. Starfield, No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous. I struggle with these. They're grindy, empty, and boring, but with pockets of incredible stuff. I want the best parts of these games bundled into a pocketable experience with a meaningful narrative. A whole new galaxy worth exploring and adventuring through. For a long time, it seemed like that was something I'd never get to see. And then I found a certain game. A game that I think is going to prove to be really important to me over the next few years. It's called Outer Wilds. To start, it breaks a lot of convention. There are no items, no unlocks, no skill tree, and no combat. It also tells a story set in the past that I care about, which I wasn't sure was actually possible. The game is pure, exhilarating exploration. The only collectibles are notes in your ship's catalog. Oh my god. Can I store these on my ship? I've never played anything that manages to capture that divine feeling of discovery so many times over in its runtime. If you were to boil it down, the core gameplay loop revolves around solving environmental puzzles in order to read more text. It sounds kind of boring, but somehow it's not. It ends up playing in such an intuitive and pure way. You simply experience the game, it's indescribable. The quantum multiplanetary puzzle solving becomes second nature. Each adventure off-world is a promise of something new to see, experience, and learn about. I don't think many games offer that to the extent that the Outer Wilds does. That fulfillment of curiosity is uniquely paired with a terrifying sense of scale. The lack of video gamey mechanics creates this bizarrely natural and immersive connection with the game. You feel like you're really there, you're really inside it, you're really exploring. Everything is foreign and unwelcoming, but if you decide to look around anyways, the galaxy itself opens up to you. This feeling has made me reconsider what a video game can even be. Piece by piece, planet by planet, you grow an understanding of the story and your place in it. What your character is experiencing is so closely intertwined with the history of this solar system that every new piece of information is a light bulb both narratively and in next steps for exploration. Clues to the galaxy's past and your personal future. I can't overstate how magical it is. There's no game that feels quite like the Outer Wilds. But the most beautiful illusion of its story is that the planet you wake up on time and time again is where you belong. You're started here, familiar faces, a warm fire to share, a museum that shows off your explorations, somewhere to call home. But by the end of the experience, you don't live here anymore. You live here. The overwhelming physical scale and narrative scope of this solar system turns each gameplay loop reset into a mad dash to get back out among the stars. This is safe, but this is home. As I gear up for the next few years of my life, this is the feeling I hope to find more of. A peace in the overwhelming mystery of everything that's out there. Fearlessly running at the world in the hopes of filling in some of the missing pieces of the story I'm living out, only to inevitably hit a stop sign and wake up the next day eager to do it again. I went on my first solo trip at the end of last year, which I think captures some of that essence. Flying by myself with bags full of my clothes on a plane ticket paid for by my job, encountering a bizarre, otherworldly peace. Maybe that's what the Outer Wilds captures so well, the feeling of travel. It's been really beautiful to learn that even though growing up is scary, just like the galaxy of the Outer Wilds, this one is worth exploring and finding belonging in.
You get a weird and awesome hit of personal agency in your life after a week away from your world. I think that's what excites me most about the next chapter of life.
Exploration that leads to a deeper understanding and a little bit of redefinition
Of what it means to be me.